And I know Persian men are like hairier, so that's kind of where my observation came from.
They're the only hairy men in the world.
Hey, greetings guys. It is lovely to see you all again. Today I have another American English listening lesson for you. One of the most popular lessons on my channel so far was the listening lesson that used a Tell My Story blind date video from the channel Soul Pancake. So today I have another listening lesson that will use a different Tell My Story video. I think this one is really entertaining. Both people have awesome personalities, but there is so much great information that I decided I'm gonna split this video into two different lessons, so that way I don't have a single video that's like 45 minutes long. So we are really gonna go into detail with this one. There are tons of awesome new vocabulary words, and I think you will learn a lot if you watch both of these videos. Let's get started, guys.
So before we get to the first clip, here is what this video will be about. In this video, two strangers will sit down together and have a blind date. They don't know anything about each other, they have never met before, so they're gonna take turns guessing about each other's life and about each other's personality. Then at the end, they'll decide if they want to go on a second date together. I'm about to play the first clip, but first let's review some of the vocab you'll see in this section. And as a slang word, if something is cheesy, it means that it is too emotional or too sensitive, so it's awkward. So like a really, really romantic movie might be a little bit cheesy. And then a person's physique, that is just their body shape and how their body looks. To pull something off, as a phrasal verb, it means to be successful at something or to make something work and look good. And then I'm into something just means I like or I am interested in that thing. So listen for all these words as you watch this first clip. Let's check it out right now.
I think the first thing that I notice is usually someone's eyes or smile. As cheesy as it sounds, I really think that the eyes are a good way to kind of like see into someone's soul. A good physique isn't bad either.
If you pull it off, I like it. It's always been that, like, a girl with short hair, but she pulls it off, I'm into it. So it's tough for me to just be like, oh, I need her to be this, 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 this. I'll know it when I see it. I know that's a horrible answer for you, but I'll know it when I see it.
So go back and rewatch if you need to, but what does the girl first notice in a guy, and what does the guy like in a girl? The girl says she notices someone's eyes and smile first. She also likes guys who have good physiques. And then the guy said he doesn't really have a preference when it comes to looks. As long as the girl pulls off whatever look she has, he is into it. Let's do some listening practice. Listen and write down what the girl says here.
The eyes are a good way to kind of like see into someone's soul.
I'll play that again.
The eyes are a good way to kind of like see into someone's soul.
She says, the eyes are a good way to kind of like see into someone's soul.
The eyes are a good way to kind of like see into someone's soul.
Now write down what the guy says.
So it's tough for me to just be like, oh, I need her to be this, 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 this.
Okay, let's hear that again.
So it's tough for me to just be like, oh, I need her to be this, 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 this.
He says, so it's tough for me to just be like, oh, I need her to be this, 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 this.
So it's tough for me to just be like, oh, I need her to be this, 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 this.
Here are the vocabulary words you'll see in the next section. Ethnic, that just means about someone's race or the original country that they're from. And then an intern, this is like a young person practicing working for a company to get some work experience and see how the job is done. So you're not an official employee yet, but you're getting some work experience. To dress up, as a phrasal verb, that just means to wear nice formal clothes, and then rep, that is short for reputation. Another few words: grind and hustle are both slang terms for working really hard. And then when you're talking about a job, the ceiling is like the limit or the maximum potential for that job. So like the highest position and the most money you'll be able to make.
Your name is Julian, and this is your story. You are 25 years old. For work, you are a graphic designer. You grew up somewhere in California, and your cultural or ethnic background is Persian.
All right, my name is Andrew, and this is my story. I am 26 years old. I am a car salesman. I was born in Massachusetts, and I am Portuguese, full-blooded.
Okay.
Persian. That's the first time I got that one.
I don't know. I just feel like, because you have hair, and I know Persian men are like hairier, so that's kind of where my observation came from.
They're the only hairy man in the world. Your name is Jenny, and this is your story. I was 25 years old. You work for some type of retail store, maybe as a manager or something, and you grew up here in California, and you've got some percentage of Korean.
Interesting. Okay. My name is Vivian. I am 22 years old. I am a health consulting intern as well as a student. I grew up in Southern California, and my cultural or ethnic background is Taiwanese.
Oh, nice. I was working in a machine shop for like 4 years, working my hands, and I realized I was supposed to be dressing up for work, talking to people, being social. Even though car salesmen get a bad rep, I put a lot of customer service into my car sales. And I like the process. I mean, the hours are long, but it's something I'm naturally good at. There's no ceiling. If you're working, you're grinding, you're hustling, you're making money. I don't like limitations.
So, what does Andrew think about his job? Despite the bad rep or bad reputation car salesmen get, Andrew likes being a car salesman because it's something he's naturally good at and there's no ceiling. Now listen and write down what Vivian says here.
You grew up somewhere in California.
I'll play that again.
You grew up somewhere in California.
Vivian says, you grew up somewhere in California.
You grew up somewhere in California.
Now write down what Andrew says.
Persian. That's the first time I got that one.
Let's hear that again.
Persian. That's the first time I got that one.
He says, Persian. That's the first time I've got that one.
Persian. That's the first time I got that one.
Write down what Andrew says here.
And you've got some percentage of Korean.
Interesting.
Let's hear that again.
And you've got some percentage of Korean.
Interesting.
Andrew says, and you've got some percentage of Korean.
And you've got some percentage of Korean.
Interesting.
Now write down what Andrew says here.
Even though car salesmen get a bad rep, I put a lot of customer service into my car sales.
Let's hear that again.
Even though car salesmen get a bad rep, I put a lot of customer service into my car sales.
He says, even though car salesmen get a bad rep, I put a lot of customer service into my car sales.
Even though car salesmen get a bad rep, I put a lot of customer service into my car sales.
Okay, now write down what Andrew says here.
And I like the process. I mean, the hours are long, but it's something I'm naturally good at.
Let's hear that again.
And I like the process. I mean, the hours are long, but it's something I'm naturally good at.
He says, and I like the process. I mean, the hours are long, but it's something I'm naturally good at.
And I like the process. I mean, the hours are long, but it's something I'm naturally good at.
So there's a lot of hard words in the next section. So let's review these and then you can listen for them in the video clip. If you are ambitious, it means that you want to achieve great things with your life and you have a lot of motivation. To overcompensate, it means to try very hard to hide or cover up a weakness or problem. So if a person is overcompensating, they are trying to hide a bad quality of themselves, or they're trying to cover up a weakness that they have. If you see go-to as a slang term, it means like your usual or preferred thing. So if I say my go-to restaurant is Chick-fil-A, that just means one of my favorite restaurants, the usual one I go to is Chick-fil-A. And then if something is on point, it means that it is really good or that it is totally correct. Some more vocabulary. To see something coming, that just means to expect or to anticipate something in the future. And then to control the room, this is a verb phrase. As an idiom, it means to improve the atmosphere or mood of a place because you have so much fun energy. And then if you see go with as a phrasal verb, it can mean to choose or to make a choice. If I say, which movie do you want to see today? And then you might say, oh, let's go with Hobbs and Shaw. That's like, I choose Hobbs and Shaw. Drive as a noun, it can mean someone's motivation or their need to work really hard. Okay, let's watch this clip now.
I've always been someone that enjoys being in a committed relationship, and I just want someone who's ambitious and has passion towards whatever they want to do in the future. And from a woman's perspective, and I think most women would agree with me, like we can definitely tell when someone is trying to overcompensate for something. Your favorite emoji is the thumbs up emoji. I said that your favorite holiday is Thanksgiving. If you could pick a new name, you would pick Anthony. The person you are most like in your family is your dad.
Not bad. Actually, it's the A-OK one. It's the OK.
Okay.
We're close.
Oh my God.
Crazy of the holiday, it is Thanksgiving. And usually people don't see that coming. Love it, because the 3 Fs, family, food, football. And my name that I would pick, Brady. Easy.
Brady.
Brady, yeah.
I didn't
Tom
see that
Brady
one.
is my
Okay.
icon. And person I most like in my family would be my mom. The ability to kind of like control the room, and I got that from her. I put winky face is your go-to. Your favorite holiday is Christmas. If you could pick a name, a new name, it would be Savannah. The person most like in your family would be your sister.
You were honestly pretty on point for a lot of them. I'm actually surprised. My favorite emoji is the winky face, but with a tongue out. So it's like a half winky face.
It's a little more
you know?
aggressive, yeah.
Yes. My favorite holiday is Christmas. If I could pick a new name, I went with Ashley. I don't know why. I just feel like maybe I look like an Ashley. The person I most like in my family is actually my dad. I've gotten his drive and his sense of humor and his just like absolute silliness.
Okay, yeah.
All right, so what kind of person does Vivian want to date? She wants to date someone who takes relationships seriously because she likes committed relationships. She also wants someone who is ambitious and passionate. Which family member is Andrew most like, and how are they alike? And what about Vivian? Which family member is she the most like? Andrew said he's most like his mom because they both have the ability to control the room, so they both have fun, enthusiastic energy. Vivian said she's most like her dad. She has his drive, his sense of humor, and his silliness. Let's do some more listening practice. Listen closely and write down what you hear Vivian say now.
We can definitely tell when someone is trying to overcompensate for something.
I'll play that again.
We can definitely tell when someone is trying to overcompensate for something.
She says, we can definitely tell when someone is trying to overcompensate for something.
We can definitely tell when someone is trying to overcompensate for something.
Now listen for what Vivian says here.
I said that your favorite holiday is Thanksgiving.
I'll play that again.
I said that your favorite holiday is Thanksgiving.
She says, I said that your favorite holiday is Thanksgiving.
I said that your favorite holiday is Thanksgiving.
Now listen for what Andrew says here.
It is Thanksgiving. And usually people don't see that coming.
Let's hear that again.
It is Thanksgiving. And usually people don't see that coming.
Andrew says, it is Thanksgiving, and usually people don't see that coming, which is like they don't expect that.
It is Thanksgiving. And usually people don't see that coming.
Now write down what Vivian says now.
You were honestly pretty on point for a lot of them. I'm actually surprised.
I'll play that again.
You were honestly pretty on point for a lot of them. I'm actually surprised.
She says, you were honestly pretty on point for a lot of them. I'm actually surprised.
You were honestly pretty on point for a lot of them. I'm actually surprised.
So here are two words that I thought you might not understand in the next video clip. So if a place is person dominated, so male dominated or Korean dominated or American dominated, it just means that type of person is the majority. Most of the people are like that. So if at your job there are 25 male workers and only 3 female workers, you could say that that company is male dominated. And then as a verb, to push something, you probably know it means to, put pressure with your hands to make something move. But if it's not a physical action, to push a person means to make them work really hard or try their best, kind of by putting pressure on them and expecting them to do great. Okay, let's watch that clip now.
I am from a small city called Diamond Bar, California. It's very Asian dominated. Because it was so Asian populated, I think everyone was really pushed and kind of had that pressure to always achieve the best within our school. I would say that I probably studied more than I should have.
I tell my little cousins all the time, go to college, go to school if you can. But that's not the only path to success. It's a good one. A lot of people do it. For me, it just didn't make sense. The way I'm gonna make my money doesn't require a college education. My skill set is sales. They can't teach you how to be a good salesman, let's put it that way. I'm gonna try to be as nice as possible, but you can't learn it in a book. You either got it or you don't.
All right, hopefully you understood most of that. Can you explain Vivian's childhood? Vivian grew up in a very Asian-dominated area of California. There was a lot of pressure to do well in school, so she says that she studied more than she should have. Now explain Andrew's opinion about school. Andrew thinks school is important and valuable for many people. However, he thinks there are other ways to be successful in life. He doesn't think his job, being a good salesman, requires a college education. Okay, now listen for what Vivian says here.
I would say that I probably studied more than I should have.
Now write down what Vivian says now.
I would say that I probably studied more than I should have.
She says, I would say that I probably studied more than I should have.
I would say that I probably studied more than I should have.
Listen for what Andrew says now.
I tell my little cousins all the time, go to college, go to school if you can.
Let's hear that again.
I tell my little cousins all the time, go to college, go to school if you can.
He says, I tell my little cousins all the time, go to college, go to school if you can.
I tell my little cousins all the time, go to college, go to school if you can.
Now listen for what Andrew says here.
But you can't learn it in a book. You either got it or you don't.
Let's hear that again.
But you can't learn it in a book. You either got it or you don't.
He says, you can't learn it in a book. You either got it or you don't.
But you can't learn it in a book. You either got it or you don't.
Okay, so that is the end of part 1. We are about halfway through the original Soul Pancake video. If you want to, you should watch the full thing. I have the link in the description. And if you have not subscribed, you should definitely do that because I will be releasing part 2 where we cover the rest of this video on Friday. So be ready for that when it comes out. Keep studying hard, guys, and I will see you in part 2.